Welcome one, welcome all to Monday, and that means it's countdown day here on the channel. What's it going to be this time? The top 10 most useless, worst accessories. That's going to be our focus this time around, as voted on by you guys in the latest GotBot Counts Down. Hey all, I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, man, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe, and while you're at it, light them up, baby. Hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton. It lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or admin for, as well as all my social media links, all of that down in the description below. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we offer to you through Teespring, or of course hit the join button right here on YouTube. Become a channel member. And this is going to be the top 10 worst, most useless accessories as voted on by fans all across social media. And there was a lot of voting that was done. Some of it I don't agree with. Some of it I was like, it's not an accessory. Like, for example, some people specifically voted for Earthrise RC. And I said, that's a whole character. It's not an accessory. They said, no, she's an accessory to a collection, and she shouldn't be an accessory to anyone's collection. I'm like, yeah, that doesn't count. Some people just said a general gimmick, and in general, that didn't count unless the gimmick was reliant on a specific accessory. You'll see what I mean when we get there. This was an interesting one. This one played out very differently than I would have guessed. There's a lot of things that didn't even get a vote that I think I would have actually had on the list. This is an interesting one. We're going to kick things off in a very unique way with the honorable mentions / number 10 first. Why? Because the honorable mentions and number 10 actually have the exact same amount of votes. So kind of any of these could be number 10. I have one that I will deem as number 10, but you can know that as I go through the honorable mentions here, they all kind of count as number 10. Staying with me? Okay, so here are the honorable mentions. First things first, Cyber Planet keys. Yeah, a lot of people said, look, the fact that certain features didn't work without them was a nuisance, because if you lost one, or you never had any, or you broke it off, because some people mentioned cracking them off, then you weren't going to be able to do some features, some things, in some cases transformations. So I'm with you. Cyber Planet keys. Yeah. What else do we have here? Double Dealer's radar box. There's a square box that comes with the Earthrise Double Dealer. And it goes on his shoulder, and I didn't even know what it was until somebody said, it's a radar. I'm like, that doesn't look like a radar. It just looks like a square box. Yeah, it's the one accessory that comes with him that I didn't even know what it was. Earthrise RC's surfboard back of her car. Yes, yes. That's awful. Just awful. It was, here's some lazy engineering, and we couldn't be bothered to actually incorporate the back end of the vehicle, so we're just going to make it go on our back. It was lazily done. It was poorly done. We also have, now this one's kind of in general, but we also have missiles, specifically spring-loaded missiles, which is funny because some people miss that and specifically say, I miss having those spring-loaded projectiles. Some people specifically say, I prefer the Japanese version of a character because their springs are stronger. I, for one, am not a fan. As a matter of fact, the only character in mine or the Scraplets collection, and there's two separate collections in our house, that has spring-loaded missiles is the Generations Skyfire / Jetfire. And it always pops out, and it's a nuisance and a pain in the neck. Not a fan. But some people are. Energon stars. Remember Energon stars? What a useless thing that was. Yeah, Energon stars. I get it. So all of those were the honorable mentions. So now we're actually going to officially kick things off with number 10 first. Now remember, here at number 10, any of those honorable mentions could have been slotted in here. So with number 10, it's kind of like pick your poison. Whichever one you want to kind of count as number 10, count. Just to reiterate the honorable mentions very quickly: Cyberplanet Keys, Energon Stars, spring-loaded missiles, Double Dealer's radar box, and RC's surfboard back of her car. But for me, the actual number 10 is going to be Studio Series 86 Blur's welder. I did not know this was a welder until somebody told me. I was like, is it an oil can? I don't know what this thing is. It slots over his hand. People will call this useful because it homages a scene in the movie or something. This is a perfect example of one of those accessories that is that one time in that one scene in that one show. Is it useful for scene recreation? Maybe. Is it useful overall? Absolutely not. And enough people agreed that he was able to take, along with the other ones, the number 10 slot. Coming in at number 9 is actually a character and an offering that I really liked. Remember this guy, Siege Shockwave? Absolutely great. But everybody said the same thing. He was vastly overpriced. Why was he vastly overpriced? Because he came with all of this junk. That's right, Siege Shockwave's extra arms, feet, and pieces. He didn't need any of this. He never had any of this ever in the show. He never had any of this, as I recall, even in the Netflix show. Extra arms and extra feet and whatever this backpack thing was, this wasn't good. Does it add anything extra to his alt mode? His alt mode is a weird ship thing, and everybody has used that to just try and find a way to make it into a blaster anyway. This wasn't necessary, and a lot of people said the same thing. This was specifically put in there just so they could try feebly to justify a leader class price point for Siege Shockwave, when really he should have been a Voyager. I couldn't agree more. This is useless accessories at its finest, and Shockwave and his accessories easily took the number 9 slot. At number 8, I'm not gonna lie, I don't even have anything to show you because I don't actually have anything now any longer in my collection from this era. But I do remember it well, and so will you. Do you remember Mechtech? Yeah, Mechtech, that's right, where you could use the spring-loaded mechanism to make the blaster come out, or make a blade come out, or two things would be down here and then they'd move up here. But as soon as you let go of the trigger piece, it would flip back. So it only worked as long as you pushed it out. Now, this is one of those examples of it was a gimmick really more than a specific accessory, but all of those accessories worked the same way, and all of them were awful. And enough people felt the same way that Mechtech, as a whole, should not only be not revisited, but it easily took the number 8 slot. Number 7 is an example of kind of accessory overkill, if you will, because it was an accessory that fans clamored for a long time to be included with particular characters. And finally, we're getting it with those suitable characters. But there's one character that this accessory has come with that it kind of didn't make sense for, or at the very least was debatable, and it has been among the fandom. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the Matrix of Leadership. No, not the Earthrise. No, not the one that's going to be coming with the upcoming Kingdom Rodimus. No. Not the one with the purple center that is going to that came with the Shattered Glass Optimus. No, not even the one with Kingdom Galvatron where he wore it around his neck. This is specifically, and the votes were specifically for Studio Series 86 Hot Rod's Matrix. Everybody said the same thing. Hot Rod didn't have the Matrix. Now, the caveat to that is that a lot of people might say, look, he did hold it, he caught it, and then he held it above his head, and that's when he turned, blah, blah, blah. I get it. I, for one, really wanted the Matrix. I feel like we've gotten it enough now. This accessory is done. We don't need it anymore. We certainly didn't need it with that Hot Rod. Enough people thought the same way, that this was able to take the number 7 slot. At number 6, again, I don't have it. Why? Because I didn't buy the character. It is the paratrooper / armor parts that come with Studio Series Shockwave. I didn't get it because, here's the thing, I felt taken advantage of with the Siege Shockwave. I felt like I overpaid, And the only thing that satiated me and justified it to me was saying, I'll never buy another Shockwave. And when the Studio Series 1 came out, as excellent as I thought it was, I stuck to my guns. I said, no, it's not happening. And again, the kind of feedback that came out is this is a Voyager that had other things thrown in with it. The paratrooper got the most votes, but just as an aside, I'm kind of throwing in the armor parts, and brains got a couple of votes. Neither the armor parts or brains really got enough votes to make it on the list, but since I'm talking about Shockwave, it just seemed cool to kind of throw them kind of in the mix just a little bit. But that paratrooper, it didn't need to be included there. It adds no value at all. Now some people said, yeah, but there was a paratrooper that came down that he took out in the film. I don't remember it. Do you? Even if you do, does it really matter that much? Was it even a character? Was it just a faceless soldier? The epitome of that one time in that one scene. Don't think it needed to be included. So did enough people that he was easily able to take the number 6 slot. Now number 5 is actually one of those gimmick examples that is just, it was dumb. I mean, let's call it what it was. What am I talking about? The seats for the Titan Masters in Titan's Return. Now this isn't even the head that belongs with Hot Rod. I just decided to use the Nightbeat head because why not? A lot of people kind of criticized and said, the accessories could have been simplified. They looked like they had a hollowed out section and it looked not only impractical or improbable, but it just looked off. And that also meant that the scale of the accessories looked off. Like these two blasters came with Hot Rod. He never had blasters like this. The whole reason that he came with these blasters was to accommodate a Titan Master. And then a lot of people said, are you ever actually going to put them together? Some of them finicky to put together, his in particular, and put the Titan Master in there with a headless robot? It looks idiotic. The accessories were idiotic. You should have just had somewhere to store the head for vehicle mode and call it good. I tend to agree. I don't like this. I didn't like this feature. I didn't like a lot of these accessories. So I absolutely agree. The seats for Titan Masters in their blasters takes the number 5 slot. At number 4, we have this piece. Do you know what it is? It is the gray blaster that comes with either Siege or the Netflix. I was going to say Earthrise. Siege or the Netflix Soundwave. We all understand the cylinder that would go on his shoulder. We all understand the cylinder in his hand. What was this? What was the point of this? There was no point to this. Now, some people have pointed out that you can put it on the back of Siege Megatron, and it does make a nice little barrel, and indeed it does. But when it comes to usefulness with the intended character being Soundwave, it really serves no function. And before anybody says, yeah, but it makes his 2 barrel pieces go together. Okay, but is anybody actually ever going to do that? Doubtful. This serves no purpose. It's not even a reference to anything. It was just thrown in as a connector that happens to look cool with Siege Megatron. For that reason, it was able to take the number 4 slot. Now here at the top 3, we have Studio Series Cups Energon Juice Box. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't know what this was for a long time. I didn't know where to put it for a long time. A lot of people have since pointed out that, yeah, he used it to like lure Sharktacons or something. I don't even remember it. This is, again, one of those like that one scene in the film. I don't remember this. I don't think it adds any value whatsoever. It's made of clear plastic that's painted, so I don't know how long it's actually going to last. It does tuck like kind of in his belt using the rectangular part, I believe. I'm going to try it there now. If I can. Let's see. Yeah, like mine stores there. I've heard of people saying though that theirs doesn't fit in there. I didn't. It's not that I have a problem with this. It's just I don't think it was needed. Cup is fine as Cup is going to be. What you used here, maybe you should have used in designing his face to look a little more accurate. Just saying. Cup's Energon Juice Box takes the number 3 slot. And coming in at number 2 is something that I don't even have yet, but I already know it's going to be trash. I don't have it because it's barely released. It's only now beginning to eke its way out. What am I talking about? I'm talking about that terrible Daniel that's going to be coming with Studio Series 86 Slug/Slag. The Daniel is awful. It can't transform. It has no face. It barely articulates. Honestly, the terrible Daniel/Spike that comes in the Buzzworthy line with that little Legends class Bumblebee is better, and that thing's awful. Yeah, Daniel, terrible, trash. Takes the number 2 slot. And coming in at number 1 across all accessories, and there have been a lot. The satellites, or the immobilizer that comes with like MP Wheeljack, or that helmet that goes on Megatron's head when he controlled, who was it, Optimus or whoever it was he controlled, those clones or whatever. That one blaster that Megatron had. You know, when you get like a little glob of a human character across all of that, everything, there's one that takes the cake as the worst accessory ever. What is it? Studio Series 86 Wheelie. What a piece of trash. As it is out of package, here's the thing, and here's why this guy took number 1. As it is out of package, yes, he can sit on Grimlock's shoulders, I guess, but neither arm has an elbow. The head, while it can move, does very little. He can't transform, and he's even holding another useless accessory. Like, he's an accessory holding a worthless accessory. So we have a useless accessory holding a useless accessory. That being the slingshot. Why is it useless? There's no string on it. There's no, like, rock, I guess, that you're holding with it. And if you take it out and think to yourself, hey, I'll give the slingshot to Titan's Return Wheelie. You can't, because it doesn't fit in his hand. It only fits in this little dink's hand. But that being said, thanks to Firetox, thanks to Justin from the 3D Corner, you can at least fix the legs on this guy and make him a little more acceptable. Without that upgrade, this guy is utter trash. And the vast majority of people agreed enough that Studio Series 86 Wheelie, far and away, probably more than any other number 1 ever did, went out in the lead and had the biggest stretch of votes that would easily make this guy number 1. And there you have it. We've gone from 10 down to 1 once again. And you know what? Like, honestly, I'm sure that the Wheelie got the votes he did because he's new. He's on people's minds. But that's not to say that other things didn't get votes that honestly really could have made it on the list. Some things I was really pulling for would make it on the list. The tails of the Nas, the Sharkticons, specifically the Titan's Return one. The Studio Series Brains that was mentioned. The trailer that comes with Classics Bumblebee, even though it makes a backpack. The skateboard that comes with Action Master Jazz was thrown in there. Cheetor's tail, the Kingdom Cheetor, his tail. What else? Earthrise Prime's trailer, Earthrise Prime's shield. I thought the trailer was a weird one. What else do we have here? The huge cannon. It was fine for Cliff Jumper, but Bumblebee? I don't ever remember Bumblebee having it. So a lot of people said it didn't really fit him. Minicons in general, a lot of people pointed those out, which kind of shocked me a little bit. What else did we have here? Unicron's rings? I would call that iconic, but a lot of people pointed it out. Kingdom Galvatron's, like, revenge ship blasters that he has. A lot of people think that that's just weird. Beast Wars Megatron's toothbrush and rubber ducky. Instructions. Yeah, a lot of times instructions. What else do we have here? RC's crossbow. I get it. Fast Track shoulder mounted thing. I get it. Sorry, not Fast Track's Tiger Track shoulder mounted thing. Fast Track as a Tyrant Spare when he's an accessory is a bad accessory, not a good Tyrant Spare. And Oh, I like these two. The parts that come off on, for example, Titan's Return Outback and Brawn that we call a blaster, or the fact that we can take Sea Spray's gut off and it becomes a pizza box. All of them honestly really deserved spots on the countdown. 10 is so very, very hard to narrow down when you have so many worthless accessories. Let me know which worthless accessory is your favorite. I appreciate you guys coming by. Give me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we offer to you through Teespring, or of course hit the join button right here on YouTube to become a channel member. Don't forget to also hit the subscribe button, and that somehow, some way, each and every single solitary day, man, you right there, you do make a difference. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights at the stop motion premieres, or the old fashioned way, baby, right here inside the videos.